Hey everybody, welcome to the DW Plays video. This time I'm taking a look at a game called Xargon. This is a 2D platformer developed by Epic Megagames, and it's basically the follow-up to Jewel of the Jungle. It doesn't really have much to do with Jewel of the Jungle in terms of theme or storyline, but you'll be able to see from the way the engine works, from the mechanics. It's got a clear lineage between Jewel of the Jungle and this. This released in 1994, and it released as a shareware model, which was typical of the day. So episode 1 here, Beyond Reality, was a free download for anybody who wanted to mess around with it. And obviously it included the ordering info here, so if you wanted to play episode 2, The Secret Chamber, or episode 3, Xargon's Fury, then you could submit your order and purchase the game, and that would allow you to have both of these episodes. Now, these days, Xargon is freeware. It has been freeware for quite a few years now, and it also had its source code released, so people can port it to other systems, and there's actually even a level editor that was released last year, funnily enough, that allows people to make their own levels for the game, which is kind of neat. But we're just going to mess around with the base game here, and to make things a bit interesting, we're going to go ahead and jump into episode 3, because why not? Now, the engine was definitely improved pretty significantly between Jewel of the Jungle and this. It looks a lot better, the sound is much better, and generally speaking, the gameplay experience is better than Jewel of the Jungle. However, it is still a bit janky because it is a DOS platformer. You do have your world map here, so you move around on the world map. And there is actually a story. You play as a guy named Malvinius, and he finds himself on this strange world of Xargon. And he more or less just first needs to try to survive a bit, and then he needs to figure out why he's here and what he needs to do. The door to an underground tunnel. But as you can see, much better graphics than Jewel of the Jungle if you're familiar with that game. Sounds much better too. This is your weapon. It's described as laser, and each shot is called a laser bullet. You can get multiple of them, so you can shoot more than just one at a time. Here you can shoot multiple in rapid succession until they land on something. Then you can shoot them again after that. And you have 5 hit points. Now these enemies are, of course, throwing projectiles as well. As you can see, if you defeat enemies, then that gives you score. And as far as the mechanics go, it is a pretty straightforward platformer. You run, you jump, you blast stuff with your strange crotch laser. Danger awaits you! Obviously, flying enemies are quite annoying. There we go. Let's see here. May only save the game from the map board. We need a key. Alright. Danger awaits you. Okay. Now we gotta be careful about that, which I just completely wasted it. You gotta be careful about those stalagmites and stalactites and such, because they will damage you. So don't run into them. And obviously these are pretty straightforward spike traps. I don't know how I managed to get through that without damaging myself there, but alright, so that means we can head back there now and get through that door. Ow. And let's see what we got over here. Okay. Now here's something interesting about the way you can attack. So if you just stand there and you shoot, you got your basic attack. Obviously you can jump and shoot. But something else you can do, you can shoot and then press up or down on the keyboard and it will angle the shot somewhat. So you can kind of steer your shots into enemies, which is pretty neat. And obviously a pretty significant improvement over the way the projectiles were handled in Jill of the Jungle. So, if you're familiar with that particular game, you will find this to be a noticeable improvement. At least in terms of mechanics, I should say. Alright, safety of the map level. We'll continue through a couple of levels here. And we'll see more of the giant trolls. Okay. And of course the centipede creature you need to shoot multiple times. And each shot takes a chunk off of it. Alright. Now, to be fair, the game's difficulty isn't particularly high. Obviously, these jumping or flying enemies or whatever, they are very annoying. Just because they're hard to hit, but that's the level of difficulty you're talking about. It's nothing particularly crazy. Oh, crap. And as you can see, if you do manage to die, then you don't need to worry too much about it, because it just starts you over at the beginning of the level. Alright, now these emeralds you use to buy different things in the shop. Now here's the shop. You can buy things like health or extra shots or rapid fire or even invincibility, which is pretty neat. Oh, okay. Yeah. Now, I will say that some of the sound effects do get a bit weird and annoying. Even though they are technically better than Jill of the Jungle, they're not quite as obnoxious, thankfully. But that's admittedly not saying much. So, something to keep in mind there if the sound effects of Jill of the Jungle annoyed you. They will also annoy you here. Although probably not quite as bad. So, something to keep in mind there. Ah, crap. Now, admittedly, I am not good at platformers. Everybody knows that. I don't care for them. I'm not good at them. And unless it's a game that I played back in the day, generally speaking, I don't really have too much personal interest in it. This is one of those games where I don't really have much personal interest in it. I did not play it back in the day. Obviously, I did play Jill of the Jungle back in the day. I just didn't play this back in the day. So, I only discovered it years later when it, funnily enough, when it released as freeware. And I just thought it was interesting. Just to see the evolution of gameplay, effectively, between this and Jill of the Jungle. There we go. Got the stupid thing. Alright. Heal myself here a bit. There we go. Oh, can't shoot that apparently. Okay, I just got completely clobbered by projectiles there. In fact, honestly, I think that's a pretty good spot to stop. The game's not super difficult, it's just that it does have some of those annoying traps that where if you don't know what you're going into, it can be kind of irritating. I mean, I just don't care for this game, so I don't want to play it too much in the first place. But I did want to go ahead and show it off, because it is interesting to see the evolution of gameplay between Jill the Jungle and this, at the very least. If you want to give it a try for yourself, like I said, it is freeware and has been for many years now, so I'll throw a link in the video description box where you can grab a copy of this and try it out for yourself. It doesn't take anything crazy to get running. All you need to do is just load it into DOSBox and you're good to go. You don't even need to do any kind of crazy configuration settings or anything like that. Very simple, very straightforward. And as far as DOS platformers go, it's okay, I guess, if this is your kind of thing, but it's not my kind of thing, so I don't really get much out of it myself. At any rate, thank you all very much for watching, and stay tuned for some videos I've got on the way. I'm working on a video about the Battlefield 6 open beta, so expect that next week, because I need to get through the second beta weekend before I get that all done. I've got a couple of reviews in the works, so keep an eye out for those. And we'll see how things go. I'm going to get back to going through the various things that I've been working on, and I'll see you all in later videos.